Hey everyone, look at me, 2 videos in one day. Isn't it good? um, I can't stop smiling. I've had a really good day today. Well, I thought I was going to be late this morning after doing that video. I ran over a bit much. I completely forgot my phone, so I wasn't at college with my phone. And at college we had to have our phones because we needed to download apps, and there was a bit of a cock up, but everything worked out fine. But yeah, the video that I was making today about, or earlier today, about how far I've come, new beginnings and everything like that. By the way, Happy New Beginnings Day, 1st of November. And very much so new beginnings. Throughout my journey of discovery, obviously I've become very spiritual, but I am very sort of psychological as well. You know, I think of things on a psychological point of view as well as a spiritual point of view. I've mixed the two together. And I know I get tested by the universe when I'm learning lessons, or when I think I'm ready that I've learnt a lesson. You get these little tests. Now I've been getting lots of signs lately, just everywhere, from feathers to just random signs to songs to my own readings for myself, knowing that something's coming in, and you get tested right at the end before you get your reward. So I know my reward's coming. But yeah, there was a big test today. Obviously when I was growing up I was abused, so I've always had, when anybody's approached me in a sort of like spontaneous sexual way, I've sort of like been triggered, and the response always isn't on something that I like or want or is good for me, but because I associate that sort of oh god, I can't think how to put it really, because it is on a child abuse level, you know. There's so much that goes through it. The thoughts, the feelings, I'm trying to imagine it, but I can't because I'm not in that place anymore, and it's weird. This is really weird, because of the experience that I've had today, and it's really shown me how far I've come with my healing, and I'm finding it difficult to put into words, so I do apologise for me babbling on at the moment, but I'm trying to get it into what it actually is about. Because I was just thinking of the surfacing, but it goes a lot deeper. It goes way back to when I was a child, being forced to do things that I didn't want to do, that weren't good for me, that, you know, I tried to say no, and they hurt, you know. It was stuff that was mentally and physically you know, damaging, hurt me both ways, and obviously I've grown up, and in certain situations I get triggered and go back to that childhood state of being frightened and thinking that I need to do things to make people happy, that what I'm receiving in return is love, that if I don't do something I'm going to get hurt for not doing it, not making somebody happy, by whatever means that may be, that makes that person happy. And there's a wide range, very wide range, you know, from being abused to, you know, you can imagine it on an abuse level, you know, what you'd give into, what you'd let happen to you, just out of pure fear and terror, just so it'll be over. But then sort of like growing up thinking it's love, so when anybody approaches you in that manner, you think, oh right, they're interested, they want to know me, they want to, you know, maybe have a life with me, you know, so you think, oh right, okay, I'll hand over myself to you fully, Um, they might think it's just like a quick fumble or whatever, or intimate moment, just a sperm bank, really, roll on, roll off type thing. But for me, it's a deeper level. I connect sex with love, that somebody loves me. So when I'm sexual towards somebody else, that's me showing them love. That's my deepest love. That is me handing myself over, deeply, very deeply. And I expect that back, that deepness. But I suppose when it was in a family environment, because I was getting it all the time, I did associate it with love. But when it's like, somebody just wants a one night stand or something like that, I still get that attachment to it, on a very deep level, emotional level. So when I don't get anything else from that, it hurts deeply, that's where the abandonment issues come in. And it's quite funny because I can feel myself welling up, but because I'm understanding things and things are under control, I'm not crying. I'd normally be in bits about this, especially the realizations, but that side of me doesn't come up. And it hasn't today when it should have done, or when it normally does, should I say. I've been approached. I've been, basically, can I come in and we have a bit of fun? I've known the lad for a while, and the actual situation is, it's actually, because I do, if you look back over my videos, I'm open about this, I smoke weed, so obviously I get it from someone. So yeah, I've texted this person today, if he'd mind let me have some until Thursday. Me pay for it on Thursday, because I don't get paid until Thursday, and I'm very, very short on cash at the moment. But he was like, yeah, what's in it for me? I was like, and yeah, just text him back saying, I can't remember what I said, but yeah, it was a non-act basically. That was it, yeah. He said, what was it that I said, you get to see my smile when you get 30 quid on Thursday. And he was like, oh, that's boring. I said, I know it's boring, but you've got a missus, and I've got a conscience and I can't do that. And he was like, he just carried on like that. And then he turned up outside, and he's still going on about it. And I told him, no, I'm not into being a sperm bank. And he was quite crude. But, so was I. But, he said, well, I'll come on you instead of inside. And my comeback was, is that still making a deposit? And I'll have to walk off. And that was it, And normally that would have sent me sideways. I would have felt obliged to invite him in and let him do what he wants, because he's doing me a big favour. He's letting me have something that I want for a few days, before I can pay for it. So he knows that I'm in need of something. Unfortunately, he's not what I was in need of. Well, in a way he was, because he's shown me that I've learned a lesson, and that I've not been triggered by that. I've not gone back to that childhood state of having to please someone because I think, oh no, they're not going to like me, or maybe he maybe is interested, he wants to spark something off, and diving in straight away instead of standing back and doing it the proper way, getting to know somebody. But I know he's not that type of person that wants to get to know me, I couldn't see that before, but I can see that now. I know exactly what he wants, and that's it. He just wants to do his deposit, and that's it. He doesn't care about how I feel, he's just after self-gratification, which fair enough, fair enough. But I'm not into giving it to him. I've learnt self-respect. I've learnt that how much damage it causes me in the long run, because it would have affected me for days. And normally, even if I'd knocked back someone, got the courage to say no, sorry, and backed off, it would have affected me for days and days after. I'd be afraid to go out of my house, and I'd be in that frightened childhood state, thinking that something's going to happen to me. I'm in trouble now, and I've got to pay this person back on Thursday, and it's like, oh no, I've got a contact again, do I give in this time, is he going to do the same sort of thing, all these things running through my head, but it's from a child's point of view, a terrified child's point of view. That's had the bogeyman come in and done all sorts, but it's actually their family, Yeah, it's not the fucking ghosts and the demons you got to worry about, it's the people around you, they're the monsters. And I couldn't recognise that, because I was in this childhood state of being back there with them monsters. But in my reality as an adult, and I've struggled with that for a long, I'm nearly 48, so nearly 48 years. So it's been very eye-opening today that I've actually been able to stand my ground, to act on what I want, not from a place of fear. I wasn't nasty to him or anything like that. I wasn't panicking and stuff like that. I didn't react nasty, or, I let him down in a funny way, I thought, Yeah, he did look a bit gutted, like, oh. But there we go, maybe he could have approached me in a different way, and he wasn't with a woman, then, already with a woman, then maybe something could happen. But no, it was diving feet first, or whatever else first. And I wasn't there for that, I didn't want that. But yeah, I have struggled with that for such a long time. It's just been quite shocking to sit here and just go, wow. I was so chuffed. I texted my mate Heather, guess what's just happened? Oh dear. And she was like, mad that, yeah, that's brilliant, Kaz, you've come on so well, but this is it, I can't go back to who I was, and today it's actually proved it. I thought that I was ready to do, to be in this position, but I wasn't quite sure if I was, and I didn't know how I was going to find out in what way that I was okay. I mean, I've had other signs and other things that, that have come up, and, I've not reacted, but this was one of the biggest things. It had such a big hold over my whole entire body and mind, and it wasn't stuff that I wanted to do. That was the thing, and it's such a refreshing change to be able to not feel afraid. Now I can feel myself welling up, not feeling afraid to say no. There we go, that's the bit. And be able to stand my ground and walk away and feel happy about it and feel safe. I've done the right thing, and nothing bad's going to happen to me because of it, There we go, that's what it was. That was the first time in my life that I got that feeling. Now it's passing. Wow. Oh, I love this healing stuff. Yes, I'm crying, but it's good. This is what healing looks like. This is the shit you gotta deal with. And when you deal with it, you can let it go. And your life changes. Oh, it changes so much. If you could be in my life right now, you'd be absolutely amazed at my achievements over this past year. Biggest ever steps forward I've ever made in my life. And there's no going back. And this truly is a new beginning. And it's overwhelming, it really is. These aren't tears of sorrow or anything like that. It's finally knowing that bit of me is over. She's not coming back. I mean, I'll miss her in some ways, but no, I won't. Because she's still me and I'm still her. But I'm me. She's safe. She can let go. Or she has let go. It's nice. She feels safe. I'm going to have to stop this for a minute. I'll just press pause. Hello everybody, sorry about that. Oh, wow, what an experience. Sorry. Yeah, that's what healing looks like. Sorry, I'm just composing myself now. That is a big realisation. I've been having lots of these, I suppose, over the space of the last 3 years. Or, well, 3.5 years now, maybe 4. I'll be 4 next March. Since I've moved here, since I've been away from toxic people, toxic influences, even just toxic surroundings. My old house used to trigger me constantly. I lived around people that used to trigger me constantly, and I had no escape from it. And I was trapped in my 3-bedroom house and battened down into a bedroom by myself, locked myself in and not go anywhere, do anything. But I managed to move here. A nice 1-bedroom flat. Well, nobody really knew me. I knew the area. I do know some people across the road from me, which I was friendly with for a while. But you know, they have their own toxic little lives. So you know, I had to stay away from them. So you know, but yeah, since I moved here, I think it was the first year, or halfway through the first year, I found an app, because obviously I wanted to try and sort myself out spiritually and physically, and I started using brainwave therapy, frequencies, and I started with the basic, just stimulate the brain, to try and stop anxiety, to keep calm. There wasn't much meditation, it was just like sound. 2 different sounds making one sound to vibrate the brain in certain parts of the brain to stimulate, where it wasn't being stimulated because of all this that was going on around me, with all these triggers, you know. And I started working on weed therapy. I just started before I moved here. I was doing it about 3 months before I moved here, with a place just up the road actually. And I was continuing it. It was just to keep myself happy and doing things that I wanted to do. So when I moved in here, I did exactly what I wanted to do to the bedroom that I've wanted to do for years, which was to create a universe, paint my own universe. So I painted it all black, and I've done galaxies and stars and all sorts, you know, it looks lovely up there. But a lot of it's proper deep space objects. I can't remember which ones I've done. Rosebud Nebula, and I think the Tinkerbell Triplet, and you know, others like that. The Helix Nebula, I think as well. and that was my therapy space. I downloaded an app with my birth chart, so I started reading it with an open mind, and it was just reading back my life and everything that I'd gone through and everything that was to come. What affected me, what influences affected me, what planets did, what energies, and I started using the advice. I mean, it had tarot cards in there as well that I could read through, and daily horoscopes, and astrology it's the planets. I suppose it is horoscopes in one aspect, but it is working with the planets and their energies, and it was very informative on. Oh, it had me in bits. I was tears. I'd never seen my life on a page before. It was just reading my life back to me, and courses of action, because I was 45 when I started reading it. So yeah, it was 45 years of my life being read back to me through my birth chart, and it was like, wow, yeah, that happened, that's what I did, and this is where I am, and shit, that's going to be my future, but this is what I have to do to get to that. And it was all working with myself, changing my whole outlook, changing my whole brain structure on how it thought, changing my beliefs about myself. I had to go deep, very deep, as you've just seen. I had to go all the way back to those raw, horrible moments, and feel them again. You have to, and deal with it in an adult mind instead of back wherever it was that happened. The first ever encounter that you can think of. That's how far you have to go back. I mean, I can go back to when I was in nappies, and I shouldn't be able to remember that far back, and it's, you've got to sit and think about those moments and what was going on and how you felt at those times, and tell yourself that everything's okay, you've moved forward, you're not there anymore. It takes practice, it takes time, but when you're constantly bombarded with triggers, you can't have that time away that you need to think in a safe place. I found my safe place with this flat. Excuse me. And it has been my sanctuary for nearly 4 years now. And through those 4 years, I've gradually got better. Obviously, I've taken some back steps, but they weren't as bad as they used to be. Wow, that's 4 years nearly. No, it's 8. 2018 was the last time I had suicidal thoughts and actions. Luckily, I sort of, I was going to take a load of tablets, but I thought I'm going to take some Valium first, so I fall asleep while these tablets take action. So maybe I won't throw them back up, or it'll have a better effect, or what. I don't know what I thought. My head was right up my arse. But because I took the Valium, I chilled out. And yeah, I can be arsed. Yeah, it just chilled my head out. What are you doing, Kaz? Chill out, man, go sleep. And that's what I did. I mean, it's not the first time I tried that. But yeah, 2018 was the last time. And to be honest, in these last 4 years since I've been here, there's been the biggest things that have happened to me as well. The case with my uncle reopened. There's all sorts of shit with my family. My dad died, them not telling me. oh, cancer, fucking hell, I couldn't think of that, that was abuse. Getting cancer. And yeah, I found out my gran had cancer, but she didn't want me to go down to the funeral. But you know, I'd not spoken to her for God knows how long, and really didn't want to go down there in the first place. You know, it was a Hoover attempt, and all the shit that's come from that as well. That's it. The course of events. It was gran getting her terminal cancer diagnosis, to them not wanting me to go down there, to my mum saying that I slept with my stepdad, to me getting cancer. My gran, sorry, before then. My gran admitting that to me that she'd hid evidence about my Uncle Stephen. There was just a vital photograph of me and him in the same bed. I was about 6 years old and he was about 16 years old, you know. We both went to bed in separate beds, but we woke up in the same bed. But we used to push beds together and play mummies and daddies. So you know, that was the biggest bit of evidence that might have put it into court. And she said it never existed. You know, it'd been in a family album for years. You know, I flipped through those albums, God knows how many times, and seen that picture. Oh, isn't that cute? You know, that's me in bed, until I got to a certain age and it was like, right, that shouldn't have happened. That shouldn't have been there. And he shouldn't have been in there. And I know exactly why he was, you know. It's one of my memories that I've got. And yeah, nobody can tell me that didn't happen. But yeah, she tried to hide the evidence, but she admitted that she tried to hide the evidence, you know. So the case reopened again, and it come back that they can't really do anything. It is lack of evidence. There's nothing there that they can use. But if anything else comes up, if somebody else steps forward, then my case will be brought forward as evidence. So you know, there's always a hope. You know, if he's done it to anybody else, which I hope he hasn't, but you know, for justice to come. I do hope that if anybody out there that he may have done it too, you know, I hope they do step forward, because they've got more of a chance with me and my statement, even though it didn't work for me. Somebody else has got that chance to get justice, and by them getting justice, I get justice. So yeah, that's fine for me. That's just another realisation that I could be helping somebody else get justice just by sharing my story. And that's what it's about, isn't it? Helping others in the same situation. Get out of it. Learn to heal. Here we go again. Another realisation. But it's part of my calling. It's part of who I am. You know, I've lived this life, but I've observed it all the way through, and I've learnt a hell of a lot, you know, and I'm sure that I can relate in one way or another to a lot of other people. A lot of people that think that it's their fault, that they're the problem, when it's not. It's other people that have made you think that way, that have made your brain think that way, you know, and there is an escape. You can escape that horrible, vicious nightmare of a circle, the prison of your own head and your own thoughts, because that's all it is. It's your thoughts, and people can use your emotions to control your thoughts, and some of them just won't think twice about doing it to you. You know, that some of them get a kick out of it. Some don't know they're doing it at all. You know, it's just learnt behaviour. You know, that's been passed down generation after generation. But you know, you can break that generational curse. That stop that dead with you. And I've done that. And oh my God, I can't say I've come through. Well, yeah, I have back in the day, but these last 4 years, no, I can't say I've come through hell. I've gone through worse. I've gone through better as well, but you know, to learn the real lessons of life, to become what I call a decent human being, a true human being, you know, someone that lives from the heart, someone that's caring, loving, kind, nurturing. You know, this is what this universe is about. You look at all the actions that, you know, stars go through, the processes, galaxies, black holes, the universe expanding, dark matter, all these connections. We're all connected, and if you look at the fundamental thing of it all, it's a nurturing environment. It's birth, life, death in a cycle, you know? And that's what we are, you know? We are that cycle. So to destroy on purpose is not what we're put on this planet for. We are here to nurture, to care, to help, to evolve. And at the moment, there are too many people that are trapped in that cycle of just not going anywhere at all, because they've been taught to not evolve, you know, to stay stuck. You're not given encouragement, you're not given the knowledge to move forward, you have to find out yourself. But you have to understand what's right from wrong, you know. If you know people are toxic, then you can guarantee that what they've told you about yourself is toxic too. And it's just their opinion. It's their twisted opinion. And it's not you. You know, you look inside yourself, you look at who the hell you really are, you know. Write it all down. I'm caring, I'm compassionate, I'm, you know, I'm helpful, I'm good at this, I'm whatever it is, just write it down. And yeah, you're going to have bad side as well, you know, I'm not very good at this, I'm not very good at that, or blah, blah. You know, you need to learn these lessons to move forward. Alright, you're not good at it now, but you might be in the future, so if you go down the right road and do the right things to help yourself. I was stuck in that same frame of mind that I wasn't good enough, that I didn't know how, and, you know, that I was a piece of shit and worthless, and, you know, craving attention from anything that come my way, you know, that showed me some form of attention, you know. It was a horrible cycle. But I knew that wasn't who I was, that wasn't where I should be, and that's why my brain fought against it. It was like, no, this isn't right. You feel it deep down that this isn't right. This shouldn't be happening to me. There's got to be something different to this. And there is. I'm living proof. For anybody that knows me and my life on a personal level, on a deep level, you'll know the hells that I've gone through and what I've had to overcome. And I hope you actually see, or you would have seen the journey of self-destruction, but not knowing why, to the realisation, and then the fight to get to where I am now, because that's what I have done. I have gone back, you know, I have relapses, but that's part healing, you know. But it also depends on who's around you when you're healing. When I look back at my relapses, there usually is something toxic behind it, some toxic person, some toxic event, something that I'm not happy about, that I've been triggered into. It's been out of my control. I know a lot of things in this universe we don't control, but there are things that we can, just by saying no, sorry, you know, and walking away. But yeah, no, stuck in that toxic cycle, it was very difficult to get out. But yeah, today was proof that it can happen, that you can move away from that. Big realisations, big achievements, definitely. And it's worth every heartbreaking moment, every tear that I've cried, every emotion that I've had to feel. It's cleansed. Definitely feel cleansed. But you have to do what's right for you. Nobody can tell you what's right for you. And it's like nobody can do this for you. People will help, I'll help anyone, I'll be as open as possible about my experiences, if they relate to yours, then maybe you could see a snippet of, alright, well yeah, I can get to that stage too. But little steps, tiny little steps, every single day. The tiny little steps that you're comfortable with. Nobody can force you to heal. Nobody can make you heal. You can't heal for anybody else either. I've done that. Well, yeah, I want to heal because I want to be better for this person or that person or this situation or that situation. No, I wanted to heal from me. And it has to come from there because it doesn't work. And it has to come with an environment that's nurturing because it won't work. For the last, 10 years, or for however long before I moved here, I was stuck in that cycle, trying to heal, but not understanding why I wanted to heal, not understanding what I had to heal, and not understanding how much the environment had an impact on me. So yeah, I'd have relapses, but yeah, since I've moved here, in those 4 years, nearly, there has been such a big improvement. Definitely the biggest snowball effect has been this last year, and definitely since, even faster since my dad died, and then since I cut out letting people do what they want to me, using me for their own whatever, whether it be financial, whether it be sexual, whether it be emotional, whatever, it's I've just cut out all the energy drainers, and I've flourished, absolutely flourished. And I don't feel guilty for it. I don't feel guilty for moving on. I mean, all these people that I've cut out, they've all got options to come back into my life at any time. But I can't have the drama that comes with it, They have to evolve, they have to change, they have to take that time to heal, to deal with their, demons, a lot of people say, but no, it's not demons. It's how your brain works, how your brain has been taught to think. That is what you need to deal with. But you need to do it in a safe, nurturing environment, or else it's not going to work. You look after a kid and normal people, mothers like me, you find the most safest, nurturing environment you can, and you give that kid all the love and all it needs to grow and evolve. And that's all I want to do with other people. I want to help people to get out of that child lock, locked in that child years and years ago, that wasn't nurtured, that wasn't loved in the right way, or loved at all, that felt a burden, that felt like there was a problem, it carries on through life, other people tell you that as you grow, relationships, friendships, work, whatever, strangers in the street, they all tell you their opinion of you. but the opinion that matters is the one that you have about yourself. And once you're open, excuse me, once you've looked at yourself that deep, with all your good side, all your good points, everything that you can do, everything you're good at, your values, your thoughts and feelings towards others, you know, if they're good, fair enough. If they need working, you know, if they don't match up to being a good, or what society or the universe would think is good, you know, we know good from bad, you know, you don't want to go and chop your family's heads off and things like that and say, oh yeah, that's good. No, that's not a good quality. I mean, you might have thoughts about that, so you have to work on those thoughts. I mean, I've had those thoughts. Towards the end of mine and my mum's relationship, I was getting violent thoughts towards her, just so she'd stop the pain. And she just, you know, she wouldn't. And I even told my psychiatrist, I said that I'm getting visions of just going over there and breaking my knees until she tells me the truth. And I know even then she's not going to tell me, you know. But that's how far my brain had gone through the torture, physical torture, mental torture, torturing myself, so many suicide attempts that didn't work. It was like the last ditch attempt at stopping the pain. When I should have been healing, you know, if I was away from those people, and then, yeah, I wouldn't have been in that constant cycle of my brain just developing worse and worse and worse mental illnesses to a stage where, you know, it was a danger to me and other people. But yeah, you get out of that stage and you have to develop all sorts of different new techniques of thinking, acting. Anything that causes you discomfort, you've got to think, alright, why does this cause me discomfort? Why do I feel bothered when this happens, you know? What is the first instance that I can think about of this situation, going back over my life? And when you get to that stage, you can, alright, that's what I was feeling, that's how old I was, that's what was happening. Okay, well this is a completely different situation. And you can put it into perspective. You have to separate the two. The two experiences, because they're one experience at the moment. When your head's up your ass, it's one experience. This is what post-traumatic stress disorder is. This is why people get triggered in today's, you know, even we get today's reality even right now, from stuff that happened years ago. It's because it's connected in some way. You know, a thought, feeling, smell, touch, to thousands of different instant billions. You know, it can be all sorts. And it usually is, and it's stuff that you don't realise. All you know is the emotion behind it all. So you have to pinpoint that emotion, what that emotion is. Like you've just seen me do, you know, that's where I said that's what it is. That's where it is. Going back to that moment in time where I needed to feel safe. Or my response, what I wanted to do, was actually say no and walk away and be safe doing that, or feel safe doing that, because I hadn't had that experience before. I've tried to say no and walk away and run away, and I've not had that happen. You know, I've been forced, held back, smothered, beaten, whatever, you know. I didn't feel safe. So everything up to this point has been feeling the same. This is how they connect, and you have to disconnect them. And you have to tell this side, child side, that it's safe, that it's okay to say no, because this side the adult can protect it. And it gets used to it. You know, I've got used to thinking certain ways over this past year. And I suppose the last 6 months I've been putting it into action. Well, what we on? No, 10 months. Yeah, I've been putting it into action. Oh no, we're in November now, aren't we? 11 months. Yeah, so yeah. This is what happens when you do the work, you know, the internal work. You heal and you sit on YouTube and talk for 45 minutes. Yeah, sorry about that. I just realised what the time is. Yeah. Well, this is my new beginning. And on the spiritual side of things, you know, last night was Halloween. I can't think how you say it. I think it's Halloween, is how you say it. The pagan end of the year, end of a cycle, the start of a new cycle. And I can honestly say that this is definitely the start of a new cycle. A completely brand new cycle. And I've started it running. And it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And I do owe it all to both the psychological side of things and the spiritual side of things. Because like I say, I can't say that I haven't followed everything that I've been shown by the universe. My birth chart, I followed all the information. I've followed my own readings. I've been following other readings, you know. Anything that resonates with me, you know, anything that I feel that, oh right, yeah, oh my God, that's me. And you know, how that's my life, that's what's gone on. Yeah, those are those events, you know. And, you know, you might have a reading that only like 2 minutes will be about your life, but it's that 2 minutes, and the rest of it might just be complete gibberish. But things that jump out at you, this is what you use your intuition for. You just feel something calling to you. Oh God, that means me. You know, something will pop out to a name, a colour, or whatever. You know, it could be a billion things. Same as triggers and stuff like that. You know. But when you actually open up to listening to yourself, listening to what you want, listening to what you know is right, that's what your intuition is. Listening to what your body is telling you that it wants. And you'll know that if it's right, because it'll feel good. You'll have those feelings behind it. Yeah, you'll have butterflies and feel nervous, panic, you know, but it's a good one. It's like just before you get onto a roller coaster ride, or just before Christmas, you know, or just before your birthday, you know you're going to get loads of presents and a big party, because you know, it's like the nervousness, or you know, going on stage or whatever, you know, to do something that you love, you know, sing or act or whatever, or dance. Sappy coming over. You know, that when your body feels like that, that's the feeling to follow. When your body or your intuition tells you you've got panic, anxiety, you don't think the situation's good, and you get the feelings of fear behind it as well, and they don't go away, and you don't get any positive feelings at all of the outcome of a situation. Don't choose that way. It's not meant for you, you know, and that's the lesson that you learn. You know, that's not meant for me. I'm supposed to do this. My body's telling me that I need to do this. The universe is telling me I need to do this. This is for my better. This is for my higher good. In whatever aspect of your life, you know. I mean, I'm not one of these church-going Christians or whatever, you know. I'm me. I'm not anything. I take aspects of different things and put it all into me, you know. I don't follow any rules or religions, you know. I take everything from everywhere, and use what I feel is right. You know, there'll be people out there that, oh, you know, to do this, you know, to be a witch, you need to have all this and that and that and that and that. It's not about things. It's about your intentions, your energy, what you're feeling. That's what the universe picks up on. You know, things are pretty and that, yeah, but you don't need it all. I've never needed it. I've never had it. You know, and I've still developed without it. You know, I didn't need crystals or tarot cards. I mean, the tarot cards have well helped, and now I've just got an obsession with them. But yeah, the bog basics will do just fine. Honour the universe, honour your ancestors, honour the energy. Just send out that feeling of love and feeling grateful for being who you are. You know, that good person, and follow those good feelings. That's where the good life comes from. But yeah, okay, I'm on 50 minutes, nearly 51 minutes. I'm going to say goodbye now. Yeah, this one's been very deep and meaningful. I am very sorry for the rawness. I will put on here trigger warning. Thank you everybody for your comments and your likes and subscriptions. I've noticed I've got a couple more subscribers. Thank you very much and welcome. Yeah, this is the Kazzy fucked up channel, but not so fucked up channel. Getting better channel. But yeah, I think I need to talk about this quite a lot, really, because this is my journey. This is how I feel, and I think this is how a lot of other people can heal. But yeah, I'm going to put my word out, definitely. But thank you everybody for all your likes and subscriptions and everything. But if you do know anybody that would benefit from the information in this channel, please share, but please share discreetly. Don't tag anybody in it, just share it onto your timeline or whatever, or whatever you want, and let people click it on themselves, because I don't want to trigger any sort of like panic into thinking that, well, you know, shit can happen. Basically, it can trigger somebody that's going through abuse. You know, oh, what if my partner sees this? You know, they've got their name on it. Oh, my partner's going to think that, you know, this is what I think of them. Even though they don't want to admit it because it causes shit. You know, but even that can just be a trigger into a state of mind that they can't get out of for a while. So I'd rather you just didn't tag anybody in it. Just be discreet, please. Thank you very much. I'm going to let you go now, because I think I need to stop and I need to food as well. See, I go from doing nothing to the extreme of doing lots. But like I say, lots has happened. But love you all. Thank you very much, and see you later. Sending you lots of healing.